Hey look, I'm in a Sun and Moon episode for the 9th time. And yes, I've counted. And I totally agree with what @Serena Top Tier said on Twitter here. Regardless of that though, this episode was actually very lovely, hilarious, and even more hilarious. What's going on guys, I'm Mountaineer, and recently a brand new episode for the Pokemon Sun and Moon anime aired on TV. Episode 92, Kukui's Desperate Situation, another royal mask. And it was certainly a pleasurable time, as I said in the pre-intro. So because of that, I've decided for today's video that I will review this latest episode, hopefully getting yourself to check out the episode too, if you haven't already. And with that intro now said, let's jump right into this review. So the episode begins off with the Masquerade battling against this Revenger dude once again, as he keeps coming back to the venue to get his revenge. However, clearly he does not have the top tier skills that the Masquerade has, as he gets beaten easily like always. It was very interesting to see this character return though. Anyway, after this battle concludes, the Masquerade then announces to the audience that he's setting up a meet and greet on each island, so he can meet his fans, Many Island being his first stop. Oh man, I wish I could have that one day. Anyway, because of the Masquerade introducing this though, when Kukui arrives home, who of course is the Masquerade, he is greeted by a super excited Burnet and Ash who wants to meet the Masquerade the next day and bring Kukui along with them. However, Kukui not wanting Ash, and especially Burnet not finding out that he is the Masquerade, is not sure what to do, until his best friend Molane, oh hello there, nice to see you again, suggests that Kukui should do his usual meet and greet at first. However, when it comes time for Burnet to meet the Masquerade, outcome would be Molane disguised as the Masquerade, and Kukui would be able to stick by Brunette's side, which Kukui likes the idea of this, and they decide to go through with this plan. Side note, I also really adored the flashbacks Kukui had of Brunette nearly finding out he's the Masquerade and fangirling over the Masquerade anyway. She's like the ultimate fangirl, oh my god. Yet it's so amazing to see something like this in Pokemon, as it's never really been done before, and just, it's amusing as she's technically fangirling over her own husband. Now that is a better somewhat love triangle than the previous episode, as of course Kukui has those two identities. Moving on though, the next day then comes around and Molane tags along with Ash and Brunette while Kukui does his work as the Masquerade by giving a demonstration battle performance and meeting his fans, before tagging along with his family. Brunette and Ash just thinking that Kukui is running late. While the demonstration battle performance is happening though, James and Faber unexpectedly meet each other, who are both big fanboys of the Masquerade. They fanboyed over a limited edition t-shirt for crying out loud, and even the mask, but it was so amusing to see this. They finally got along for once too. Oh yeah, I guess this is a perfect time to plug my merch too, link in the description below. Anyway, the meet and greet starts to begin, and Brunette, who got closer to the line, starts to worry a lot that she will mess up her meeting with the Masquerade, her idol, which that is so realistic as I felt that before, and it was just so humorous to see once again. So, because she's near the front of the line though, Kukui as the Masquerade then announces that he's going to take a quick break, and this is where Kukui and Molane then switch places. But oh my god, look at Molane flexing, I was dying of laughter. But then again, he is kinda like me. Oh my god. Regardless, the impatient Faber and James then decide to go backstage to try and meet with the Masquerade, as Faber told James that he knows the Masquerade personally and can probably meet him early. However, instead of finding Kukui, Faber notices Molane with the Masquerade's mask and starts to believe he's an imposter, also doing something terrible with the real Masquerade. So James, trusting Faber's words, then ties up Molane with Faber for doing such a thing. But uh-oh, here comes the Revenger to get revenge on the Masquerade once again, and takes his audience hostage. And with the Masquerade nowhere to be found, Faber then decides to be a hero and put on the mask to pose as the Masquerade and battle the Revenger for him. Incineroar's Pokeball also being in Molane's hands, which Faber took. But oh my god, guys, look at Faber here. I was dying of laughter again, oh my god. But yeah, Faber couldn't beat this Revenger as Incineroar was confused by the trainer, and Molane, who manages to escape from the ropes, makes the stage pitch black, so then Kukui, who was with Burnet, can then get the mask back and Incineroar from a fainted Faber and save the day by beating this Revenger, which he did by using the Z move. And then, Burnet finally got to meet the Mask Royale, which was a very adorable scene. Also really reminded me of that one scene from X, Y, and Z with Serena and Ash. The episode then ends off with a fainted Faber waking up all alone in the venue, but with a signed t-shirt from the Mask Royale, this being Kukui's way of thanking him for at least trying to save the day. Which was sweet, but also hilarious and kind of creepy, as we also see Faber in his underwear. Oh my god. With that story and some of my thoughts now said though, let's now move on to my overall thoughts of this episode. Firstly, for the story, although nothing plot important happened, I definitely found myself having an enjoyable time watching this story. And that is because it was just packed with so much silly drama and comedy, which I couldn't help but be intrigued to see what happens next and laugh at all the stupidly amusing stuff. You guys got to see a perfect example of this during my storytelling section. You know what, actually, that's just pretty much the entire episode in a nutshell. I cannot really express more how much fun this episode screamed. I just had a smile on my face throughout the entire episode, unlike a certain previous episode. In fact, this episode in comparison to that previous episode just makes the previous one look even more terrible in my opinion. 5 times way more entertaining and hilarious. If you think about it too, this episode did kind of have love features too. However, it was way more unique than the ridiculously cliche love features in the previous episode too, which doesn't really give any more justice for that previous episode, seeming as the main plot in that previous episode was pretty much dedicated to love, whereas this episode, that love was kind of a subplot. Yes, they did it more amazingly for me personally. Oh yeah. As I stated in the storytelling section too, I find the anime creators touching on the topic of fanboys and fangirls in this episode to be fantastic, as we've rarely seen anything like that before in Pokemon whatsoever, and it just fits so perfectly for an episode dedicated to the Mask Royale, who is a popular icon in the Alola region. Plus, as I've been showcasing for this entire video pretty much, it just left us with hilarious moments. To at least be fair for this review, as I always try my best to be as fair as possible, let's talk about some moments which didn't really hit me personally. For example, I found the battle towards the end of the episode to be way too short. Pretty much it was just a Z move and boom, the battle was done. Then again, that's how Z moves have been working ever since episode 1 pretty much. However, I was definitely craving to see a little bit more battle action. The battle action we got to see from Faber and Incineroar 2 was a little bit questionable. Why that is because Incineroar didn't seem to perform good under somebody else's care. Yet it showed multiple times beforehand that it has incredible power that can pretty much defeat any foe. So you would assume that if somebody else was to borrow this Pokemon like Faber did, it would still perform alright. But it didn't really, did it? Although, at the same time, this was a sweet way to show the bond between Kukui and his Incineroar even more. Finally, and this is more of a personal nitpick, I am disappointed that Kukui did not reveal his identity to Burnet or at least Ash within this episode. The previews for this episode really made it look like that the time would finally arrive. But nope, we're still on the edge of our seat waiting for that day to happen. It would have been so perfect to see within this episode though, especially seeing as Burnet was fangirling over the Mask Royale more than ever before, as she was gonna meet him for the first time ever. Yet, it's Kukui under that mask when they see each other every day. So, because of all of this, I suppose the Mask Royale's identity will be revealed towards the end of the series instead, as they're still dragging this plot point out. Regardless of these 3 disappointments regarding this episode though, the point still stands as I've shown throughout this entire video that I had a wonderful time watching the entire episode play out. These disappointments not affecting the enjoyment of this episode that much. Finally, for this story section though, some of you are probably wondering where this episode would stand in my top 3 of the Mask Royale focused episodes. And my answer to that is that it would be the solid number 2, with episode 63 being number 1 and episode 81 being number 3. Although I do really like episode 81 too, due to that lovely action. It certainly does it better than this episode, for example. However, thanks to everything I've explained about this episode's story, I just found myself smiling more and having more fun compared to episode 81. With that said, that concludes the story section. So all that's left is to go over the animation and music aspects we got on this episode. Firstly, for the animation, it was looking decent as usual. However, I just have to mention that before I researched this particular point, I thought the Pokemon Incineroar was battling during the demonstration at the start of the meet and greet were actual real life Pokemon, not dolls. So I definitely found it weird at first how they were expressing themselves and looked so dead inside. But of course, now that I know that they were dolls, it won't downgrade the animation, as those expressions were just to show that they are dolls. To be honest, it's pretty funny looking back at it, as it's so obvious that they're dolls to me now. As for my actual animation highlights though, there isn't really much to say apart from that I loved each scene where they made the Masquerade more handsome with the sparkles and flashy backgrounds. And finally, I guess the Z move was as beautiful as ever. But I couldn't really care more about the actual scene, as we've seen the Z move quite a bit already now. As for the music aspects, I definitely loved the tune that played at the start of the demonstration battle. It just fit so perfectly and was lovely to listen to. And finally, the tune that played when Kukui gave Mulane the royal mask was a very peaceful, yet also uplifting. Definitely loved that one a lot. With that said though, that concludes all the sections for this review. So all that's left is to give a rating for this episode, which I'm gonna give it a 7 out of 10. It's a bundle of fun that I can highly suggest for you to watch if you haven't already. If you have watched this episode though, then let me know in the comments down below what you thought of this episode though. I'd love to hear. But that everybody now finishes off this review. So if you enjoyed this video, then be sure to consider leaving a like, a subscribe and a share for future Pokemon content. It helps out a ton. You'll also become a member of the Entity Squad. For now, this is Entity Maze, signing out. Thank you for watching.